one of the most rewarding and important professions. So why are nurses hanging up their stethoscopes?
We've learned to kind of push it down, shut it out, put on a brave face.
Tonight, we're going in-depth, taking a look at the reasons behind a nursing shortage.
Vehicle thefts on the rise in the metro.
They got caught with the keys in their hand, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
As the numbers grow, victims are left wondering, what will it take to stop this?
Round 2 underway.
Oh, we're going to win for sure.
The Avs begin their next step toward hoisting the Stanley Cup.
And first tonight, evacuations are in place tonight as a wildfire quickly grows in south central Colorado.
The Plum Taw fire is burning 7 miles north of Pagosa Springs. Since igniting about 1 o'clock this afternoon, it's now grown to 600 acres.
And officials say multiple large air tankers have been brought in to help crews trying to get this fire under control. And until then, people living in the Lost Valley of the San Juan's neighborhood have been evacuated from their homes.
So Denver 7 will watch this fire overnight. We'll have the very latest for you tomorrow morning starting at 4:30. And this fire is burning as we face the threat of more wildfires.
And Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson's here. Mike, Thursday could be another very active day.
That'll probably be the worst day of this week. Temperatures today were hot and it was dry. Readings across southwestern Colorado, 83 at Durango. And as far as the winds, we've been fortunate, not all that strong. That'll change on Thursday. Fire weather watch covering all of the areas highlighted in yellow for Thursday for the combination of strong winds, low humidity, and very warm temperatures. We are seeing a little bit of the smoke coming out from that fire right now on the wildfire smoke map. It's not extreme. Those are still farther to the south with those big fires down in New Mexico, but we'll keep a close watch on that for these reasons. We're going to have scattered storms Wednesday with lightning, windy, hot, and dry Thursday, but the good news, rain coming up, changing to snow in many areas of the high country on Friday, with some heavy snows possible in some of the mountains Friday night. Full details in a few minutes.
All right, see you in a little bit. Thank you, Mike. In Teller County, the High Park fire near Cripple Creek, now 69% contained. This fire scorched 1,500 acres since igniting last Thursday, and there is growing concern over the cost to fight this one. Teller County commissioners estimate it's cost $2 million in 5 days. And if this keeps burning, the county worries it could exhaust its fire contingency fund before the end of the season. So tonight, they're in talks with the governor's office to declare a statewide fire emergency to free up some funding.
And the largest fire in the country right now is burning in northern New Mexico. Some 10,000 people have been forced to leave their homes in Mora, Taos, and San Miguel counties. More than 468 square miles have burned in the last month, making it the largest fire ever in New Mexico history. The governor saying it is not an exaggeration to expect up to 1,500 homes will be lost.
The El Paso Teller County 911 Authority is investigating why evacuation alerts reach people dozens of miles away from danger. Residents received these alerts last Thursday for a wildfire burning down in Colorado Springs. Those alerts were sent from the FEMA-operated system called iPause. Officials say they are now working with FEMA to figure out why the alert reached further than intended and why the link in the alert did not show a map of the affected area. Nurses are leaving the field in alarming numbers.
Here in Colorado, we could be feeling the impacts of a nursing shortage for a very long time. A recent study by Mercer predicts come 2026, Colorado will be one of 5 states with the biggest nursing shortage in the country.
And while the statistics are not encouraging, the efforts of Colorado healthcare systems to get ahead of this crisis are. Denver 7's CB Cotton explains.
A surgical gown protects Kate Barrow from the illnesses she encounters. But nothing protects her from the heartache she's seen.
Just the amount of sick people, just the amount of trauma, the amount of people that didn't really get the best goodbyes.
A little more than 13,000 Coloradans have died due to COVID-19. For Barrow, who began her career during the pandemic, it's tough to think about.
We've learned to kind of push it down, shut it out, put on a brave face for either patients or families, and then that's where the burnout comes in.
Burnout that's causing a nationwide nursing shortage. One survey finding a third of nurses plan to leave their job by the end of the year. Another survey suggesting the nursing labor shortage will get worse over the next 18 months.
It was really hard my first year as a nurse in 2013 without there being a pandemic. And I can't imagine how that compounded and was more difficult for our newest nurses who started in 2020.
So Megan Mines, a nurse herself, is leading a new team of nurses at UC Health who are called CERNs, or clinical education resource nurses.
So the CERN program is an additional layer of support that we've added, knowing that nurses who are transitioning to practice during the pandemic experience additional challenges.
The CERN program, created last fall, has now grown to a team of 9.
Do you have any questions about what we're reviewing here?
And each clinical education resource nurse is tasked with providing mentorship to nurses who are working in a hospital setting for the first time.
We thought that they would be spending a bulk of their time helping with technical skills, time management, delegation, decision making, that sort of thing. We found that our CERNs spend a decent amount of time with emotional support of our newest nurses.
Right now, the CERN program is working with nurses who are new to UC Health's medical surgical unit. But UC Health hopes to expand the program because at times, protection can come in the form of a guiding hand.
It makes me feel good. I think it's really critical this day and age, and nurses have been preaching for, a couple of years now how important it is to support.
CB Cotton, Denver 7.
So what is causing this nursing shortage? Well, there are multiple factors, so let's take a closer look now. One of the main factors is that the workforce is getting older. According to Nurse Journal, the average age of nurses is 52 years old, with 19% of RNs age 65 and older. Many of those nurses are expected to retire within the decade. Another attributing factor is a rising demand for an aging population. The CDC says 19% of people over the age of 55 have 3 or more chronic conditions. That's putting a strain on healthcare resources. And finally, just nurse turnover. The Washington Post estimates 30% of nurses either left or considered leaving the profession as COVID-19 made stress and burnout worse.
The future of 2 elementary schools in Aurora is unclear tonight. Aurora Public School Board meeting tonight to discuss a plan that could close Sable and/or Paris elementary schools. District leaders cite a drop in enrollment at both those schools. The meeting's going on right now, so we'll let you know what happens tomorrow morning right here on Denver 7. It is a crime of opportunity, thieves stealing vehicles at alarming rates.
And just in the first 3 months of 2022, more than 8,000 vehicles were stolen in the Denver metro. That is up 24% from last year, according to the Metropolitan Auto Theft Task Force.
And one of the victims is Mark Moynihan. His truck was stolen at broad daylight and then crashed on Colfax.
And the owner of the vehicle hit in the crash saw our story and reached out to Denver 7's Rob Harris, and he was shocked to learn just how little had been done.
And I walked out and my truck was gone.
It was about 2 weeks ago that we talked to Mark Moynihan, whose truck was stolen and crashed with his new puppy inside.
My truck is it's literally in pieces.
A spokesperson for the Denver District Attorney's Office told us a man had been charged with trespass of a motor vehicle in connection with the incident. That's a lesser charge than auto theft. When we asked why, the spokesperson told us, "We have an ethical obligation to only file the charges we believe we can prove to a jury." That answer didn't sit well with the team at Alpine Glass.
They got caught with the damn keys in their hand, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Ruben Ramirez was out on a job on Colfax when Moynihan's stolen truck crashed into his work truck.
They hit right back here, so it messed up my rack. There's a bottom part, like you can see. It broke out my back window.
Ramirez snapped these photos of the suspects as they stepped out of the truck.
If you don't hold these people responsible, they're not ever going to do anything. They're just going to continue to break the law and just keep the same cycle going.
Colorado now ranks #1 in the nation for auto thefts, according to the National Crime Insurance Bureau. In just the first 3 months of 2022, we had more than 11,000 vehicles stolen, which breaks down to more than 122 per day.
We have a problem and we know about it and nothing's happening. So something needs to happen.
Andy Hanna owns Alpine Glass. He says 2 company vehicles were stolen from them last year alone, and several employees have had personal cars stolen and damaged too.
It is with great concern that I write you today.
Hanna says he's at his wit's end, and today he sent letters to both Senators Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, calling for tougher action against these crimes.
What more do I need to say? As a tax-paying citizen and business owner, I expect something to be done about this.
Hanna says extra financial cost is just the beginning, and he worries the violence and danger will continue to increase. For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
All right, here we go. Second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs underway right now at Ball Arena.
And the Avs are squaring off against the St. Louis Blues in a rematch from last year's opening round that ended with an Avs sweep. Outside the arena tonight, Denver 7's Danny New caught up with fans hoping for another sweep.
Hey, how you guys think the Avs game's going to go tonight? Oh, we're going to win for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Is St. Louis going to have the Blues tonight? Yes, sir. Can I get your selfie now? Yeah, absolutely. How do you think the series is going to go for the Avalanche?
Good,
You going to win it all?
probably.
I watched them in '96 and '01, and I think this is going to happen again.
This is it?
Three.
Uh-oh. How is this going to go down?
Oh, it's not going to be pretty.
Go Avs?
And
Who do you think's going to win?
Blues in 6.
I would keep your voice down. You are surrounded. Is this not the most dapper Avs fan you've ever seen? Sir, who are you wearing tonight?
no one. Me.
Sir, peace sign to the camera. Peace sign to the camera. Yeah.
Now the Avs are the Vegas favorites to win it all.
And of course, Lionel will have highlights from tonight's game coming up a little bit in sports.
Nice to see some showers around earlier today. There's a lot more moisture coming up in the 7 day.
Reopening travel to Cuba.
I think it's really important that we get help to the Cuban people directly.
A Colorado woman who fled decades ago shares her perspective as the U.S. takes another shot at normalizing relations.
And getting creative during COVID. How a senior living center is keeping its residents entertained.